everyone, welcome to Steph and Key TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps our channel, and let me know what you thought of today's video. All right, Atlanta, let's get into it. All right, so this episode picks up where we left off. The ladies are at dinner, getting ready to chow down. Portia is still in a foul mood. She doesn't want to pray. Cynthia prays over their food, and they start to dig in. Now, Latoya had a rocky start with cooking the food, and I'm glad that Marlo stepped in to help her because they said the food was good. Marlo throws a little bit of shade. She said the potatoes are overcooked, but they're still good. And so Latoya did the best that she could with some help. So hopefully nobody gets food poisoning, but they're all chowing down, having a good time eating food. Cynthia tells Candy that she learned a few things from the previous night, and Candy's like, "What'd you learn?" And Cynthia says that she learns that she's a voyeur. She likes to watch the ladies get down and do their thing, and everybody's laughing and cracking up. She said it made her a little hot and bothered, so she went up into her room and finish her business. And Portia said, "So you got turned on by us?" And Cynthia says, "Y'all were some great inspiration." So they're laughing and cheering, having a good time. And Kenya's off to the side, so like looking some type of way. So I know this is not going to end on a good note. This dinner, no. So Cynthia has some notes that she brought out. She talks about Bolo's thing and how it's real, or she thinks it's real. Portia says it's real. Kenya in her confessional is like, "Of course you know it's real, Portia, because it was banging you last night and making you call him daddy." I was like, oh my gosh, Kenya. And then Drew was saying like, "Oh, it's definitely real," because she remembers being flipped over the table. Like, y'all remember the deal. But Toya jumps in and says, "What kind of married woman would be all over a stripper like that?" And Drew was like, "Well, you would have to ask all the ladies at the table, because I feel like we all enjoyed Bolo." And she's like, "Why are you singling me out, biggest fan?" And Toya snaps back, I'm your number one fan and only fan." Whew. So I guess Toya is finally tired of this biggest fan shade. I had a feeling it was going to come back eventually, and it did right now. So now Drew's in her confessional talking about, like, weren't you, Latoya, licking up and slurping up on Bolo, and now you want to judge me for shaking my booty? And so they're going back and forth at it at the table. Toya's like, "Well, I'm trying to get a divorce. You're in a struggling marriage. And were you the one at 6 a.m. that Kenya was talking about?" And it's just like, where did this come from? And then Kenya's like, "So now we think it was Drew with Bolo?" And Drew's like, "Keep my name out of it." And then Toya switches it up and she's like, "Yeah, so we have Kenya investigating. Why are you investigating?" And Kenya's like, "Because I want to." She's like, "Do you have a problem with it?" And Toya's like, "Well, you're trying to ruin like a girl's night." And I'm with Candy. Candy's like, "Wait a minute. Toya was just all up on Drew talking about how she was so messy and trying to put her business out there with Bolo, and now Toya's mad at Kenya for doing the investigating." It's like, girl, make up your mind. Which side are you on? So Shamia jumps in. She's like, "It wasn't me. I was in my bed, sleep. I'm a married woman. Keep me out of it." So Cynthia's like, "Did anybody else hear any noises?" Marlo said, "I heard a party going on. I was in my room and I heard a party going on outside." So now it's Kenya and Marlo that heard noises. Portia and Tanya are super quiet right now. Like, super quiet. Everybody else is jumping in saying what they did and didn't do. And Marlo's trying to get Portia into the conversation. Like, it could be like, maybe they were just watching porno. Maybe that's whoever it was. Maybe that's what they were doing. She's like, what do you think, Portia? And Portia's like, "Kenya's going to tell you. She's got a whole plan. She's going to roll it out. Just wait. She's going to tell you." Kenya continues on telling everybody, "I heard the noises. I stood there because I wasn't sure if I was hearing what I thought I was hearing." Tanya jumps in. I'm like, girl, shut up. She jumps in and tries to throw shade and says, "Probably because you haven't had it in a long time, so maybe that's why you don't know what you were hearing." Kenya snaps back and is like, "You're not in my bedroom and I'm not in yours." So they're going at it. Tanya, why didn't you just shut up? Why didn't you just shut up? So then they go over to, like, okay, Kenya says, I know that the noises were coming from this side of the house. So the rooms on this side of the house are Candy's room, the open room, and then Portia's room. And she's like, I know it wasn't Candy's room because Candy was asleep snoring. And Candy was like, yep, keep me out of this. I didn't do nothing. And so Portia's like, so you're saying it was my room? And she's like, I didn't say anything, but Portia's like, well, my room's like the only other room there. And then Tanya jumps in and trying to explain herself, and Portia's like, you don't have to explain yourself. And Tanya says, well, all I know is that I was in Portia's room last night. Candy's in her confessional is like, girl, like, why did you put yourself at the scene of the crime? Kenya didn't even say your name. So you just put yourself out there. And I feel like Tanya said her name because Shamia was making it seem like Kenya was spreading that it was Tanya and Portia. When Kenya only said Portia's name, Shamia is the one who added in Tanya when she delivered the message to Tanya and Portia. So I feel like maybe that's why Tanya said it, but I feel like she should have just kept her mouth shut because now she's looking even more suspect. Girl, like, we know it was you. We know it was you and Portia and Bolo in Portia's room with the candlestick. So Marla jumps in and she's like, whoever did whatever with the stripper is their business. And Portia gets mad about that. She's like, what are you trying to say, that I did something? And Marla's like, no, she just said, like, whoever did it. She's like, if I was with the stripper, it's my business, it's my vagina, nobody, like, it's like, let's drop it. And Kenya's like, well, I feel like it's disgusting and I think it's gross. Like, you should wait to do that stuff at your home. And I have my daughter here. And it's just like, okay. You knew like a bachelorette party was going to happen, Kenya. I feel like she's being very judgmental and like slut shaming the women for doing what they want to do with their bodies on a girls trip. When you're on a girls trip, you want to go and be free and do what you want to do and not be judged. Kenya, I guess Kenya has the right to feel however she wants to feel, but I don't feel like she should be slut shaming the women. Nobody brought the stripper around your daughter. She was in a room with you when you were not being snoopish, and you like lock the door, mind your business. So I feel like you should not be worrying about judging the women for what they did. But she keeps trying to say that she's not implicating Portia in it. So Portia's like, okay, so if she's not implicating me, then this just sounds like a non-issue and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to go home. So she goes to her room, goes to bed, and Kenya's like, bye. And then Toya's like, see what you did? And Kenya's like, well, see what you did, Toya. Like, oh my gosh. Like, this is a mess. Like, a mess. Candy jumps in and says, it's supposed to be a judgment-free zone. I told y'all at the start of this that it's going to be a judgment-free zone. If you want to judge, Kenya's like, don't you feel like it's disrespectful because, like, it's around us? We're in a, like, shared home. And Candy's like, if you're in your room, sleep, minding your own business, then it shouldn't bother you. Like, let's drop this judgment-free zone. And so everybody just starts to cheer to Cynthia's bachelorette party, having a good time. Let it go. Cynthia in her confessional says, if I was Portia, I would just own it. Especially if you talk about keeping it real. I feel like Portia would own it if Tanya wasn't involved. Portia is a single woman. She doesn't care. I feel like she's more worried about implicating Tanya and ruining Tanya's relationship. And I mean, because Tanya pretty much implicated herself by saying she was in the room with Portia. So it just makes it look like, okay, so you were in there doing stuff with the stripper. Yeah, I feel like if Tanya wasn't involved, then Portia would probably just own it. But I don't feel like Portia needs to own it. I don't feel like anybody needs to own it. They could just tell Kenya, mind your business, and not talk about it. So we're with Drew. She's in her new home, her dream house that she bought together with Ralph. I'm glad she said that because I was worried for you, girl. The way Ralph was making moves and stuff didn't seem like your name was going to be on that deed. So I'm glad that you bought the house together because I don't trust that man at all. So Cynthia is telling Mike what happened. Drew is telling Ralph what happened, and Candy is telling Don Juan what happened. Candy's just like, everyone had a good time. I'm not going to say anything, But she does allude to the fact that I'm not going to say that Kenya was lying about what went on. Girl, so then you pretty much putting it out there that what Kenya said was right. I'm like, Candy, you just as messy. But she tells Don Juan, she's like, out of nowhere, Tanya goes and tells everybody that she was in the room with Portia. Why did you implicate yourself like that? Don Juan confirms that the car service called him and let him know, like, hey, like, we procured a car for the stripper, but he didn't show up until like 7:30. And I'm like, Lord. So mess. So they're laughing and giggling. Cynthia tells Mike all about the stripper. What drives me crazy is like both Cynthia and Drew tell their husbands how big Bolo's thing was. Like, you don't tell your husband that. Even if he just watches the show and sees it, don't tell him that he was so huge. Girl, men have egos. You gotta be like, oh, it was all right. But Cynthia says she confirms that Bolo's thing was real, talking about he took it out and showed everybody. So then Mike was like, okay, I need a demonstration. He gets up, starts doing a little dance, and takes a water bottle. And she wasn't like this, and she was laughing and cracking up. So he handled it well. Drew and Ralph, on the other hand, she tells him what's going on. He seems like he's all right at first, but then you can see he's starting getting like annoyed. He wants all these details, and Drew's like, well, I gave you pretty much all the details. I mean, if you want to know more, how about you tell me what happened at Tampa? Those 3 days you were missing. She's like, where did you go? And he was like, I went to a hotel. Lies. You're lying. She said, okay, so then who were you with? I wasn't with anybody. Yeah, okay. So then he's like, you're trying to flip it on me, and we're talking about you. And she's like, no. This is a mess. This toxic marriage. Why? Why are you with him? I don't understand it. I don't understand. But she pretty much just tells him, like, I didn't do anything different than what you do at the strip club. So they let it go, but I wouldn't tell him nothing. Until he told me everything that happened in Tampa. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Till I get that, you don't need to know nothing. How about that? So Kenya is doing a photo shoot for Alpha Magazine. She looks great, gorgeous, flowy hair, makeup looks great, she's losing weight, she's feeling good. Toya comes to visit her. She brings a peace offering, some cake, and Kenya's like, no, I just lost 2 pounds, I don't want to put it back on. But she takes a break and they sit to the side. Kenya's like, I'm glad you brought this cake, but I want to smash it in your face right now. And Toya's like, why would I do? She's like, you betrayed me. She's like, you like called me out like and just went after me the night before, and I thought we were cool. And she's like, and you know that I've been through it with these women about my daughter, and I thought you were my friend, gonna be on my side. And Toya's like, I hear you, but like I felt like you were trying to ruin the fun and we were trying to have a good time. And Kenya's like, you know what, I was jealous that you were kissing up on Portia. So I guess like I've heard other people mention that Kenya was jealous because she wanted to be kissing up on Toya, and I thought like, no, not really, but I guess she did. So she was jealous because she admits to Toya that she has a crush on her, and she felt like some type of way seeing her with Portia because her and Portia have issues. Toya says, okay, I understand, I was kissing up on your enemy, but she's like, I didn't mean to hurt you, and I will be more on your side. It was just like, I wanted to have a good time and be stress-free about it. And Kenya's like, well, it appears to seem like there was a threesome going on between like you, Portia, and Tanya. Toya's like, no, there wasn't. She's like, I didn't kiss Tanya. I kissed up on Portia. We had a good time. She doesn't allude to the fact if they did anything else besides making out, probably like some touching or whatever. But she says like after she was making out, she threw up from all the drinking and then went up to her room. And they do show a clip of them asking her if she's okay. Go brush your teeth. I think, yeah, we see like the subtitles for that. And she's like, and then I went to bed and I didn't do nothing. And then she quickly tosses it back on Tanya, and she's like, Tanya's the one who said she was in Portia's room. And Kenya's like, exactly. So she implicated herself. And now I have all the evidence I need. And Kenya, at first I'm just like, why can you let it go? But then they show, those shady editors at Bravo, they go back and show clips of multiple times when Portia has called Kenya like a whore and a slut and all of this. They were going at each other, but they showed the clips and now we can see, it's like a justification for Kenya to be like, if she wants to put my stuff out there, I'm gonna put her stuff out there and implicate her in some stuff. But Toya and Kenya make up. Toya says she's gonna do a better job to be a better friend to Kenya. Kenya accepts her apology and they're gonna move on from here. I don't know what's gonna happen with Portia and Tanya, because mess. So Drew stops over at Portia's place. They have mimosas and muffins. They're just chatting, having a good time, talking about the party, how much fun they had. And then they're talking about Kenya's messiness with the investigations. They don't like it. They feel like everybody should have stayed on code. So they are on agreement that they're not messing with Kenya. And then Ralph calls Drew and like, where you at? And she's like, I picked up the groceries. I'm on my way home. Portia starts coughing. And Drew's like, I gotta go. To like put her on blast. But she's like, girl, you're supposed to be on your way home. And she's like, I said I'm in transition on my way there. So they chat a little bit longer. Portia asked Drew, she told Ralph everything. She's like, yeah, I told him everything. He didn't like that the stripper was dancing up on me and put his thing out and stuff. But she's like, but I also don't know what he was doing in Tampa for 3 days. So Portia asked, like, do you think that he cheated on you? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I just feel like, there just comes a point where I'm going to need what I need out of this relationship or else I'm going to go crazy. And Portia's like, yeah, we're similar. We feel like, we don't feel like we're insecure until you make us feel like we're insecure. And I don't agree with that. I feel like Portia is very insecure, not to like put any shade on her whatsoever and to make it seem like she's a bad person. But I feel like she does a lot of things that make me feel like she's insecure, especially as far as relationships, because we've seen her in multiple relationships on the show and they've not been healthy relationships. None of them. So, and when earlier in the season when she was talking about her father and she felt like she didn't have any daddy issues, but then to hear like Lauren tell her story with their father and saying how he used to, because Lauren lived with Portia's father and Portia lived with her mom. And Lauren said that he used to kiss me on the head every morning before he would go to work. And Portia broke down in tears because she didn't have that closeness with her father. So I'm like, for you to say you don't have daddy issues and then to break down in tears for something that you miss, like, girl, you have daddy issues, you have insecurities because of that relationship with your father or their lack thereof with your father. You can see like the patterns of these bad relationships that she's been in. So I don't agree with that she has no insecurities. Especially like dealing with this nonsense man. I know she has a child with Dennis, but how many times are you going to allow him to treat you this way? But Ralph calls again and it's time for Drew to go home before she gets busted for not being where she's supposed to be. And they end the conversation there. So we see little clips of Candy with Ace. They're playing a game while she's holding baby Blaze, that cute little adorable chocolate baby. They're having fun and they tie up on the game, having a good time. And then we see Portia with PJ. They're brushing their teeth. She is getting so big. She's so cute. And they're like showing their teeth after they brush them. And then we head over to Cynthia's house. She's with her mother, her sister, and her daughter. And they're talking about the wedding party. They're finalizing everything. And all of a sudden Noelle's like, Mom, your foot is ashy. And then, of course, they zoom in on her ashy foot. And she's like, well, there's nothing I can do about it now. And she tries to, like, cover it up with her dress. She's like, they probably already zoomed in on it by now. And they did, because the cameramen are so shady. Poor Cynthia. They just can't let her win. So Kenya's meeting with her lawyer. She lets him know that she told Mark about them filing for custody for Brooklyn, her and her attorney. And she said, I just wanted to give him a heads up so that he wouldn't be blindsided. And then she says that he's been sending her love songs, and her lawyer was laughing, like, what? He's been sending you love songs? She's like, yes. He's been sending me love songs and talking about his playlists are full of love songs about me and how much he misses me, and he thinks we're a power couple and he wants to work it out. And then her attorney's like, okay, no. He's like, he's been sending you love songs and then he pulls a stunt with me. And she's like, what? And he pulls out some papers, slides them over to her, and she's like, he's filing for divorce? This hot mess of a man files for divorce in New York, which you can't do, as we learn, because Kenya doesn't live there, so he's going to have to file for divorce in Georgia. So he just randomly filed for divorce in New York, and he wants alimony, and he's not fighting for custody for Brooklyn. So she's just like, I can't believe this mess. And I'm like, girl, like, now is the time. Stop trying to hold on to that hot mess of a man. He is horrible. He's been nothing but brutal and nasty to you. And girl, Kenya, you don't deserve this. No woman does. Like, let him go. So her attorney explains that it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. And I hope that it doesn't take a long time, that they can settle this quickly and she can just move on with her life, have full custody of Brooklyn, and be done with this man. And he just sees Brooklyn, whatever the courts decides. But I just hope that she's able to really take time to figure out what she wants in a husband and seek that out slowly, because she just jumped into this relationship and had to jump right back out because he was hiding all of his nastiness, and now it's out there, and she's gonna have to deal with this man for the rest of her life because of Brooklyn. So that's how this episode ends. Y'all, let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you're in the know when I release a new video, and subscribe. I would love to have you a part of Steph and Key TV, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.